sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. And today we're going to be talking about something that I think we all find pretty fascinating: celebrity relationships.
Yeah.
And this one is a real head scratcher. I think you're going to find this pretty interesting. We've got an article here from Just Jared that has been sending shockwaves through the internet.
Oh, wow.
All about Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It is kind of fascinating, isn't it, how we all get so drawn into these stories?
Yeah.
It's like, what is it about them? Is it the glamour? Is it the drama?
Right.
Is it just this peek into a life that seems so different from our own?
I think it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But this one in particular is so interesting because this story has been unfolding for over a year now,
Oh, really?
with just rumors and denials flying around about Hugh and Sutton.
Yeah, it's been like a slow burn, hasn't it? Like all
Yeah.
these whispers, and then it's turned into like full-blown speculation.
Right.
And now we have this new development that's really, I think, thrown fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
A photo of them holding hands on what looks to be a very romantic date night.
Exactly. The headline in Just Jared says it all. Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster finally confirm relationship by holding hands on date night.
Wow.
And it's a big deal because after a year of dodging the paparazzi and keeping things so under wraps, this very public display of affection is a pretty significant move.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a classic way for celebrities to kind of control the narrative. You know,
Yeah.
to come out and just be like, okay, we're done hiding.
Right.
This is us, take it or leave it.
Exactly. And the timing is really interesting, too, because this date night happened right after Hugh attended Sutton's performance in Once Upon a Mattress in Los Angeles.
Oh, so they're supporting each other's careers.
Yeah.
Even as they're navigating this new stage in their personal lives.
Right.
It makes you wonder how they're managing, the pressures of fame and public scrutiny.
Right.
Especially given all the backstory here.
Right. Let's rewind a little bit for our listener and give them the full picture. It really all started with the Broadway revival of The Music Man back in 2021.
Oh, yeah?
Hugh and Sutton starred together in that, and of course it was a massive hit.
Huge hit. But, that production faced all those delays because of the pandemic.
Right.
And, it's no secret that these long-running Broadway shows can create just these incredibly intense bonds between cast members. I mean, they're essentially living in each other's pockets for months.
Yeah.
Sharing the highs and lows of a very demanding creative process.
Yeah, it's almost like a pressure cooker of emotions, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like you said, those lines between the characters they're playing and their real lives can get really blurry.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that a lot of people can actually relate to, even if they've never set foot on a Broadway stage.
Yeah.
I think we've all had those situations where work relationships kind of evolve into something more, haven't we?
For sure. But in this case, there's just like an added layer of complexity because just a few months after The Music Man closed, Hugh announced his separation from his wife, Deborah Lee Furness.
Oh, wow.
And then almost immediately after that, the rumors about him and Sutton started.
Oh, my gosh. It was a bombshell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That timing, the show, closing the separation, the rumors.
It's all just...
Yeah, it really fueled a lot of public speculation.
Yeah, and speaking of speculation, we can't forget about those photos.
Oh, right.
People magazine got the exclusive shots of Hugh and Sutton on their date night.
Uh-huh.
And let me tell you, they look genuinely happy together.
Oh, wow.
Hugh's rocking that, typical casual but stylish look.
Yeah.
And Sutton just looks absolutely radiant.
The photos are really interesting, aren't they?
Yeah.
They seem so deliberately chosen to portray this, sense of ease and happiness.
Yeah.
Like this stark contrast to the complexities of their relationship timeline.
Right. It's like they're trying to control the narrative.
Yeah.
And put their best foot forward,
Uh-huh.
despite what seems to be a really messy backstory.
And that's where this story gets really interesting for me. We have this curated image of happiness.
Right.
But behind it lies this whole web of relationships and events that are far from simple.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it really is. It's a classic example of how celebrity lives, even when they seem so transparent, are really just carefully constructed narratives.
Yeah.
Like what we see in those glossy photos is just one tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Right. And that puzzle includes some pretty significant pieces.
Yeah.
Shortly after those rumors about Hugh and Sutton started,
Uh-huh.
Sutton actually tried to shut them down.
Really?
Yeah. She even posted a family photo on social media,
Oh, wow.
seemingly trying to, project this image of stability.
That was a strategic move for sure.
Yeah.
But it also raises a really interesting question about, the pressures celebrities face to maintain a certain public image.
It's like they're constantly walking this tightrope,
Right.
trying to balance their personal lives with the demands of their public persona. Absolutely. And in this case, Sutton was dealing with not only the rumors about her relationship with Hugh, but also all the scrutiny surrounding her own marriage.
Oh, right.
Because remember, she was still married to Ted Griffin at the time.
Right, and that's another whole layer of this whole saga.
Yeah.
Sutton and Ted actually ended up filing for divorce in October 2024.
Wow.
After 10 years of marriage.
So we have these two high-profile divorces happening in relatively quick succession.
Yeah.
Followed by this very public confirmation of a new relationship.
It's a whirlwind.
It is. It's a whirlwind of events. And, it's so easy to get caught up in the timeline and all the speculation.
Right. It's like a real-life soap opera.
It really is.
But as we go deeper, we really have to remember that these are real people.
Right.
With real emotions and complex histories.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, where empathy comes in.
Yeah.
It's so easy to judge, from the outside looking in.
Right.
But we can't forget that we're really only seeing a fraction of the story.
It's like trying to understand a novel by only reading a few chapters.
Yeah.
You might get a sense of the plot,
Yeah.
but you're missing all those nuances and the character development and the emotional depth.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's so important to resist the urge to just jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
We may never know the full story behind Hugh and Sutton's relationship, and that's okay.
Right.
It's a good reminder that everyone has their own journey,
Yeah.
their own struggles, their own triumphs.
Right.
And, those journeys are often messy and unpredictable.
Yeah.
Especially when you throw in fame and public scrutiny into the mix.
Right. Speaking of scrutiny, there's one more piece of this puzzle we need to address.
Okay.
A friend of DeBurley's, Hugh's ex-wife, claimed that the affair rumors were on point.
Oh, wow. That quote definitely added fuel to the fire.
It did. But as we always say, anonymous sources should always be taken with a grain of salt.
Absolutely. We have to be really critical consumers of information, especially when it comes from sources who might have their own agendas.
Yeah. It's easy to get swept up in the gossip, but it's important to remember that we're dealing with real people's lives here.
And I think that's a key takeaway from this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
While we might be completely fascinated by celebrity relationships, it's so crucial to approach these stories with empathy and critical thinking.
So where do we go from here? We've got this very public confirmation of their relationship.
Right.
But what does it all mean for Hugh and Sutton moving forward?
I mean, only time will tell how this story unfolds.
Yeah.
But it will be really interesting to see how they navigate this new chapter under the watchful eye of the public.
I have a feeling we haven't heard the last of this saga.
Probably not.
But for now, let's kind of shift gears a bit and explore the broader implications of our obsession with celebrity relationships.
I think that's a great idea. After all, this isn't just about Hugh and Sutton. It's about our collective fascination with fame and love and all the stories we tell ourselves about both.
Okay, so we've really unpacked this specific story with Hugh and Sutton.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to zoom out a little bit and think about the bigger picture here.
Okay.
Why are we so captivated by celebrity relationships in the first place?
Well, that's a question that social scientists have been trying to figure out, for decades.
Yeah.
There's just something about fame, about lives that seem so, larger than life, that really seems to tap into our deepest desires and anxieties.
Do you think it's like a form of escapism?
Maybe.
A way to just kind of step outside of our own lives?
Right.
And into this world of glamour and intrigue?
I think there's definitely an element of that.
Yeah.
But I think it also goes deeper than just wanting to escape.
Yeah. Right.
As humans, we're wired for storytelling.
Right.
And so celebrities, they become these characters in the narratives that we create.
Right.
Their loves, their heartbreaks, their triumphs. They give us this framework to understand our own experiences.
It's almost like we're looking for those patterns for meaning
in
their lives and hoping that it'll somehow, illuminate our own.
Right. And the media plays a huge role in shaping all those narratives.
Well, for sure.
They frame these relationships, as fairy tales or epic dramas, using this language that evokes all these strong emotions.
Right.
And it just keeps us hooked.
Yeah, and then the audience, we become so invested in that story.
Oh, totally.
You know, we root for the happy ending.
Right.
We gasp at the betrayals, and then, you know, we analyze every gesture, every Instagram post.
Yeah.
Looking for clues about what's really going on.
It's like this collective social experiment, isn't it?
It really is.
We're all participating in this, constant analysis of relationships and love and fun, trying to make sense of it all.
Right. But in doing so, it's so easy to forget that these are real people.
Oh, yeah.
With real feelings.
Right.
We kind of reduce them down to just these characters in a story.
Yeah.
And overlook the complexities and the nuances of their lives.
And that's where I think we need to be a little bit more mindful.
Yeah.
As we consume these stories, as we, engage in all the speculation, we just always have to remember that we're dealing with human beings.
Right.
Not fictional characters.
It's a good reminder for all of us, really.
It is.
Not just in how we view celebrities, but just in how we interact with everyone around us.
Absolutely. Empathy, understanding, and a healthy dose of critical thinking.
Yeah.
Those are the tools that we need to kind of navigate this world of relationships.
Right.
Both on and off the screen.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with just one thought to kind of chew on.
Okay.
How does our fascination with these celebrity relationships reflect our own hopes?
Yeah.
Our own fears and assumptions about love and connection?
I like that. And maybe even more importantly, how can we engage with these stories in a way that's both entertaining and insightful?
Right.
Without losing sight of, the human beings at the heart of it all.
Well, that's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those critical thinking caps on.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.